All right, good morning, traders. Today is July 11th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. All right, this is the day trading service for hit and run candlesticks. All right, let's dig in. Let's go see how we did yesterday. Let's see what the market did yesterday. Let's see what's ahead of us. Let's see how we plan to trade SPY today. All right, so my initial thoughts. All right, big gap down. All right, if we don't recover the gap before noon, all right, in other words, up over the pivot, if we don't recover this before noon, there's a possibility that the market views this as a failure, all right, to make a significant higher high. All right, and then there's a good chance that price is probably going to come down to, well, the prior all-time high, which is around 613.26. All right, so if we break this low right here, chances are we're coming all the way to 613.26. And then we begin our consolidation pattern as we head through next week's bank earnings or investment banking earnings, or well, the first part of the earnings that begins next week. All right, so if we do not recover this, all right, before noon, all right, I think there's a very strong possibility, all right, that price is going to be heading down towards 613, and I would look for the consolidation pattern to begin. I noticed this yesterday by the closing time that, it was a high, but it wasn't a significant higher high. So there's a chance that the market wants to come down and visit these lows. So the first targets down here, it's going to be, of course, the gap fill that was never filled right through here. All right, there's a little gap fill, a bullish gap on the 9th that was never filled completely. That will be the first target. Second target will be the low right here, okay, down here at the on the 7th, the low of day on the 7th, all right, and then even further down, look for price to come all the way back to 613, and then begin a consolidation pattern between basically 623 and 613, a $10 range, and look for price to consolidate while we head through the earnings coming up next week. All right, so that's my plan this morning, okay? So I'll be looking for, we're in a downtrend. Let's look at the pre-market just a little bit more here, okay? And let's take a lot of that off. And let's take more off, all right? And slide this over. Okay, so I will look for a red erases green entry right underneath 621.70. And that will be the first target, will be the gap fill down here on the 9th. All right. Other than that, I will wait to see if they can recover this back up over the pivot. If they get a 10-minute uptrend over the pre-market VWAP, I'll be interested in trading that back to the pivot. First thing they have to do is get past 623.30, which is our red erases green pivot right there. All right, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's the plan this morning. Okay, below the pre-market range right here. Okay, below that red erases green down here, and then if we get a 10-minute uptrend over the pre-market VWAP, I'll be looking for it first to get over 623.30, and then to get back to the pivot. All right. And like I said, if we don't recover the pivot by noon, there's a strong possibility that price is rolling over. We'll look for the gap fill, the low on the 7th, and then down towards 613. Okay, that's the plan. All right, so here's the game plan according to if things hadn't fell apart, or if they recover this in the pre-market. We'll see what they're going to do. All right, game plan. Okay. I already laid out what I plan to do this morning. Okay, so We have a green erases red event, okay, over 626.70, okay. That's a green erases red entry, okay. Again, if I get that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP right in here, all right, I'll be interested in trading that back to the pivot and then up towards the green erases red event. All right, on the southern side, we got the pivot, 625.25. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. And then we have a red erases green event underneath 623. Excuse me, a red erases green event underneath 623.30, which we're already underneath it. Okay, right now, just kind of waffling back and forth underneath it. Okay, so I'm kind of expecting the gap fill, but we'll see what they want to do. All right, so there's there's SPY, there's a game plan. You've got it all laid out. I like 7 days till expiration Friday options. I like Friday options 14 days till expiration. I like my Friday options on the multiple of 5. All right, because I got more open interest on those multiples of 5. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are breaking away from VWAP. All right, I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP that are breaking away from VWAP. Okay, so I like both of those. Now, if I get a 10-minute uptrend that manifests down here, I'm willing to trade it. All right, if it's breaking away and breaks rubber band candles, I'm willing to trade it back up towards these entries, the red erases green, the pivot, and the green erases red. So in other words, I'm not going to wait to trade an uptrend till it gets all the way up here to 626.70, where the first green erases red event actually is, up there. Okay, so if I get same thing with the downtrends, okay? If a downtrend were to manifest up here or just underneath the pivot, I would look to trade that long before the red erases green, as long as we have a 10-minute downtrend, which is signified or identified as the 3 underneath the 8, all right? And the trap and the candles are underneath VWAP, okay? So if I get a 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here at the pivot, all right, I will be interested in trading it long before the red erases green event down here, okay? So that's my SPY game plan for this morning, okay? Big reminder, all right? Now that you got the news, let's talk about this, okay? Our partner, Doug Campbell, one of our teammates, all right, at Right Way Options, he's going to have an open house, all right? And that's Monday. That's this Monday. You're going to go through the weekend. You're going to wake up. It's going to be Monday, all right? He's going to have his open house on Monday at 6:25 to 4 p.m., all right? Now, he goes through. He gets up early, okay? He creates a video in the morning, okay? And then he posts it up in the alerts, okay? And you're going to find his video. Now, I know it says it starts at 6:25, okay? But I'm a big fan of being prepared, okay? All right, so what I want to see is you guys be prepared for tomorrow, all right? So here's his video, and he plants it up here in the alerts every morning. Notice it's 8 o'clock, and he's already got it done, all right? So do yourself a favor. Come in, all right? Come in at 9 o'clock and watch the video, all right, so that you're prepared. And he probably won't start talking until 9:25, all right? But do yourself a favor, get there early, all right, and watch the video so you're prepared when he opens up the day at 9:25, okay? He's great with options. He's great with spreads. He's great with entries. He's great with exits. He's very picky. He has a high win rate. If you want to know how to get into the room, oh, by the way, it's the 14th, 9:25 to 4. Like I said, get there early and watch the video up in the left-hand corner. Okay? You'll see it. Anyways, it's in the alerts. Okay? Now, Entry is free, okay? It's no charge to get into this open house. So you can do one of two things. You can use your smartphone, scan this QR code, and then click the link that comes up inside the QR code, right inside there, and then get registered. And we will send you the credentials by email, okay, long before the market opens on Monday, all right, or before Monday, okay? You'll have the credentials to get into the room. I think Ed goes through all the business of setting up the room, I think, the day before, all right? So it'll be set up and waiting for you to enter, all right? So here's the QR code. I will leave a link in my description. I will leave a link in the posting, all right? Either way, use this or find the link in the description of the video and get registered, and we will send you the credentials to get in. And don't forget to go, all right? Even though you get registered, don't forget to go if you can. Take the time. Hey, it's free education. Anytime you guys can get free education, it should behoove you to take advantage of it. All right, so there's right way options, Monday, 9:25 to 4. All right, use the QR code. I'll leave a link in my description. All right, let's take care of that. And let's start off with the morning monologue. All right. Let's start off with a little bit of yesterday's monologue, okay? Had coin starred right here before we get into the monologue. Coin starred, ZS was starred, and PL was starred, okay? Coin had a nice breakout. ZS bombed on us, and PL still waiting for a breakout. All right, let's go take a look at those real quick. All right, we'll go over here to the game plan part, and let's pick up PL. And we'll hit the daily chart. Okay, so here's PL in the grinder box up here. Still has not broke out. Okay, need it to break out up over that red candle body right up there. Okay, still consolidating in the pattern up here. So, but holding the higher ground so far. Okay, PL. Okay, coin. Look at coin. Coin had the breakout. Okay, so there's coin taking the breakout. You know what I like to look for? See these higher lows, higher low, higher low, equal low, higher low. That's a good clue. This candle is probably coming. All right? All right. Sometimes there's a wind up way back here and then it shoots out of there. But this is another good clue right here. Is you see these higher lows just like that coming up through the box, and it usually results in a nice candle like that. Okay, just saying. All right, if you can catch one of these boxes and you can see these higher lows coming in, all right, that way you'll be prepared for a nice little move. Right, I think that was like 373. Up to 389. Wow, that's a great move, okay? Right there. You can make a lot of money on that if you got some short-term options. So there's coin with the breakout. Now Z-scaler bombed on us. Look at this. Here, we're in the box. Nice consolidation box. They may recover this today. We'll see, okay? It doesn't look like it. They're below the 17. That's usually a red flag for me. All right, but Z-scaler bombed, so they came off the list because they're underneath the 17. All right, so Z-scaler bombed yesterday. All right, and they were poised for the breakout, and they did, notice, have a little bit of higher low action right here, and then they failed right there. See that? They just missed the boat, and then they came back here, and then they failed big time yesterday. Okay, so there's ZS. All right, let's go start the monologue for today. All right. Today is July 11th, 2025. Good morning, traders. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hey, I want to thank everybody that follows me, subscribes, follows my content. Again, I try to provide actionable, profitable content every day. My SPY pivot this morning is 625. 25. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. And we are right now, we're below it. Okay, now they could recover it before noon. We'll see what happens, or even before the market opens. All of the Fab 5 are in daily uptrends still. Yes, they are not broken, all right? They're still consolidating up at those highs. Okay, SPY, IWM, and Diamond Dow yesterday all made higher highs and higher lows, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. Just FYI, okay, I think IWM made a new rally high. I think Diamond Dow made a new rally high. I think. I know SPY made a new rally high. QQQ and FNGU did not. Okay, QQQ made a lower high and a lower low, closing over the bullish trap over at 17. FNGU made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA. Okay, SPY closed 2-hour uptrend. We like that, and a 10-minute downtrend. Okay, going into the close yesterday. Gold, technically in a downtrend, but not moving down. Okay, gold made a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Silver in an uptrend. Silver made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over its 17 EMA. USO in a daily uptrend. USO made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA. UNG looks like it's headed off to challenge the all-time lows. UNG in a daily downtrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside the bearish trap under the 17 US dollar index, still in a downtrend. We love that as traders and investors, all right? Closed near the 97.58 area. As a consumer, we don't like a weak dollar because it just makes our money go less further, okay? It's not fun paying more for everything. SPY Max Pain today, 621, okay, with a put-to-call ratio of about 2.3 puts. So there is a possible put squeeze on the table for today. And that's for all those SPY options that expire at 4:15 today. So what do we got started today? PL should have come off the list. I don't know why that's still on there. That's strange. FLR's, let's go look at PL. Oh, yeah, PL is still on the list. That's right. It was the other. Well, we'll take a look at that. Zscaler came off the list. Take a look at PL, and FLR is consolidating. So take a peek at those. So here's FLR. All right, you can see it consolidating up here. If we get consolidation, look for those higher lows. You get a nice little box right up here. Okay, look for that to notice it's consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Again, got to get up over this 52.91 area. That's FLR. Next one was PL, right? Yeah, PL, looking for PL to make an appearance up over the body of this red candle right there. Okay, still consolidating over to the right. So both PL and FLR. All right, those are in the grinder boxes, ready for breakouts to the upside. They got to get moving up though. Okay, so there's PL and FLR. All right, let's go back to, let's take a look at that one more time. Here it is, and that's it right there. Okay, I think one of those over here was poised for a downturn, but I can't remember which one. Anyways, we did the SPY game plan early this morning, okay, over here on the 10-minute chart, okay. I already explained I like 10-minute uptrends under VWAP. 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, we already did that. Let's do the QQQ game plan. All right, QQQ. Slide this over, push this up, move this all over right here, okay? QQQ pivot, 555.25, below it I'm a bull. Above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Green erases red over 556.80. All right, that's a green erases red entry. Red erases green underneath 553.20. Okay, you can see they're right there right now. Okay, so same thing as SPY. All right, I like Friday options on the multiple of 5. Okay, so that's going to be 7 days till expiration and 14 days till expiration. And you're probably saying, hey, John, it's Friday today. Why don't we play today's expiration? You can. You can trade whatever you want. As a matter of fact, if you want the best performing option, most of the time it's going to be that 0 DTE in the money call or put. All right, that's going to give you that almost that penny for penny performance in that 0 DTE in the money option. All right, you can trade those, but let me just say they are also very sometimes more expensive. All right, and sometimes the volatility inside those can wreck you, all right? Because if you get a $2 candle and you're holding 10 contracts, that's a $2,000 dip if it goes in the wrong direction, all right? I'm just saying, you can trade those, and they give you great performance, okay? But just don't get caught on the wrong side of a bad candle on those, because that could wreck your account, all right? And because of that, I like to go a little further out, out of the money and out in time. It makes them I don't get the performance that I would from a 0, but and they cost a whole lot less, so I'm risking less that way. All right, so that's why I like those. They move a little bit slower than the 0 DTE in the money calls or puts. Okay, so there's QQQ. There's the game plan for QQQ. Let's look at QQQ on the daily chart. All right, let's pick up a clean one here. Here we go with the daily chart. All right, you can see here's QQQ yesterday, lower high, lower low. Okay, closing over the bullish trap. Okay, so you notice that things aren't broken. They're still up there at the highs. Okay, let me just take this out because we really don't need that right now. Okay, so QQQ still in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs, consolidating up near the highs. Okay. So that's bullish still, all right? Even though we're pulling down today, all right, we are still bullish up there on QQQ and SPY, all right, because we're up at the top of quadrant 4. By the way, SPY made a new all-time high yesterday, okay? So let's take a look at FNGU. So FNGU did the same thing, lower high, lower low. A little bit worse on FNGU, all right? Closing below the bullish trap, but over the 17. Notice it's still holding the higher ground up here. Okay, that's bullish. All right, anytime you move up, hold the higher ground. That is bullish. So we're still bullish. QQQ, SPY, FNGU. Okay, still bullish up there. All right, they're holding that higher ground. All right, because they could recover this today. We'll see what happens. All right, still in an uptrend. Higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Still bullish. All right. Up there at the top of quadrant 4. Let's take a look at IWM. Okay, IWM yesterday, new rally high. Here's the April. All right, here's the reversal in April. Okay, this is the dip that Wall Street bought. Okay, notice price action up here, new rally high yesterday. Okay, closing over the trap is bullish. Over the 17 is bullish. Notice they're in the upper third. That is bullish. And they're in an uptrend. See, we got a couple of lows here. We got a couple of higher lows here. We got a couple of highs up here. And they're making a higher high. Okay? So that's bullish and in an uptrend still. All right? Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow did not make a new rally high, but Diamond Dow did put in a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Again, price holding that high ground up there. That is bullish. That is a bullish environment. That's a bullish behavior, okay, to hold this high ground up here at the top of quadrant 4. They are within striking distance of taking out the all-time high, which is right up here. Okay, so they are not far from it, probably a couple of ATRs away. All right, so you can see price is up in quadrant 4. That's bullish. We got a couple of lows here. We got a couple of higher lows there. We got a couple of highs here. We got a higher high there. So that's an uptrend up here in quadrant 4. Anything over the upper third is bullish. Okay, up there, it's in the upper top of upper. That's bullish up there. Again, they just made a new rally high about 5 days ago. Okay, so there's SPY on the daily chart. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at our technicals. T21.22. Yes, we spent the day in the overbought zone drinking the bear's wine all day long up here in the overbought zone for T21.22. Let's take a look at T21.23. Okay, you can see T21.23 moves up, holds the higher ground, breaks out. Now they're up there and they held it up there. Look at the plank they held all day long yesterday. Here's your clue. Bullish gap up, never filled before noon. All right, bulls have control. Look at green from the beginning of the day almost to the end of the day right here. Okay, so it looks like the bulls decided to take the day off early right there on that red candle. Okay, price action, again, bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Okay, another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears on the previous day. Another bullish gap up, not filled by the bears on the day before that. Okay, another bullish gap up, okay. Anytime you see bullish gap ups, not filled by the bears, all right, who's in control? The bulls are, all right, because it takes an incredible amount of energy to pop up and then hold the higher ground. And that's what price is doing. Look at price rise up over this rising 200 SMA. Okay, so we've passed this prior all-time high, past this prior all-time high. If we can get through some consolidation over there to the left, this is the all-time high up there. I think we make an attack on the all-time high. There's T21.23. That's the 15-minute chart. Okay, that's bullish up there. New rally high for T21.23. Okay, that's in an uptrend if you didn't know it. Okay, see the lows, the higher lows right here, and then of course you got the higher highs. New rally high. Okay, T21.23. 15-minute chart, 3-bar chart. Okay, got a low, see the higher low, all right? See the high, higher highs, so that's uptrend. Okay, new rally high, same product, all right? And price up over the flat 200 SMA, looking good. Finally made a higher high than over here. That cancels the daily downtrend, so we're now in a daily uptrend, all right? We were in a daily downtrend before we took out this high right here. All right, but we weren't moving down. That was the clincher right there. Okay, you're not moving down. You can be in a downtrend and not move down. We'll look at gold. There's a perfect example of being in a downtrend and not moving down. Okay, so there's T21.23. Okay, in a 3-bar uptrend. Okay, that's the 3-bar chart. Okay, 130-minute. All right, and in a daily uptrend and up over this 200 SMA. Okay, that's huge right there. FNGU took the day off yesterday. All right, you can see here's the bears took control from the beginning of the day almost to the end of the day. Looks like they had a 2 surveys, a lunch right here, and then they continue with some selling. All right, price action got underneath the 200. Like to see the bulls recover that today. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, it's not looking good. Moving down and consolidating at the lows. Kind of feels like a trip lower. All right. Remember, we watched the FNGU because it's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and the SPY. It also has the ability to jerk those 2 indexes in whatever direction this pack of 10 securities inside here happen to move as when they move as a pack. All right, so we could see we're getting a little pullback here right now, but if you look at this, it's still a move up and holding the higher ground. We actually got a pennant kind of trading out here right there, the makings of a possible pennant or a flag up here. Okay, so you can see we'll see if they recover this today or if they actually want to make a trip down to the prior consolidation. Now, if you look, we have been consolidating over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. If we pull this open here, let's take that off of there, and let's pull out the boxes, and you can see we've got consolidation right through here. Okay, and you can obviously see we've got consolidation over prior consolidation, which is a bullish environment. Okay, so there's FNGU. Maybe they recover this today. We'll see. Or maybe they wait till Monday when the earnings come out. We'll see. Or next week. All right, so there's FNGU. That's still bullish up there. Okay, it's not, may not be acting bullish today. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors. Let's go back to game plan. First sector we'll look at is XLE. That's the energy sector. Nice candle on the energy sector yesterday. Outside day, which happens to be a higher high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap. That's always bullish. Closing over the 17, a green rising 17 EMA. That's always bullish. Okay, coming up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Up over downtrend line 1, downtrend line 2. That's bullish. Okay, but here's the problem. They got a habit of moving up and then giving it up. Moving up and then they give it up. Okay, they're in an uptrend. They're making higher lows. See, here's a couple of lows. They're making higher lows. See, here's 3 higher lows there. Okay, and they're making higher highs. You can see here's a high. They made a higher high. Now they're off to make another higher high this week or next week. We'll see. Okay, so there's XLE. All right, it's in an uptrend. It's not in the upper third up here. Okay, it's not in the lower third down here. Okay, so if we were in the lower third or the upper third, okay, so this would be the upper third. Okay, if we weren't up here, that would be bullish. Okay, if we were down here below this line in the lower third, okay, this would be bearish. Okay, right now we're just neutral. Okay, so we're zigzagging through here. All right, and we're just neutral, and we're acting bullish by making an uptrend. Again, higher lows, higher highs, uptrend. So just neutral. All right, for right now. And they are ready to break into the upper third up here. Notice they're back up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So great performance there on XLE, even for the weakness that it has been in over the months. All right, so there's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. USO puts in, they were in the upper third, bullish, okay? Now notice they kind of gave it up yesterday. Lower high, lower low, closing, under the bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA, okay? So now they're back to neutral because they're not, remember I just mapped out, upper third is bullish, okay? Lower third is bearish. So they're back to neutral because they're not in the upper third again, okay? Notice they're giving it up, that higher ground. Maybe they can recover it today. We'll see. Okay, so there's USO back to neutral and in an uptrend still. Okay, you got a low, there's a low, higher low. Okay, there's a high, higher high. Okay, another higher low. Okay, so we'll see. They're still in an uptrend. Now, if they take out this low right here, they'll be in a downtrend. If they take out that low right there, they'll be in a downtrend. Right now, they're currently in an uptrend. Still in that uptrend. So there's USO. No longer bullish, just kind of neutral through here. Okay, but in an uptrend. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG showing a head and shoulders pattern. All right, we'll visit that real quick. Okay, so all of this, that's the head. Okay, this double top over here to the right is the right shoulder. Okay, this double top over here to the left is the left shoulder. This is the all-time low right down here. That's an all-time low. You can see here's the neckline. You can see price breaking this neckline. All right, so we're in a head and shoulders pattern on UNG. Okay, so UNG obviously making lower highs. See these two highs? Look, there's two lower highs. We got 4 lows. We're making lower lows, so that's a downtrend. Notice price action is below, okay, the lower third, right through here. We're underneath it, right here. Okay, so that's bearish and in a downtrend right there. Okay, so you can see price action. Yesterday made a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap. That's bearish. And underneath the 17 EMA, that's also bearish. And underneath this 18-month high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so that's year and a half, 18-month high anchored VWAP, which is not a very high bar to set, and they can't get over that and hold the higher ground. You can see here's the all-time highs. That is hardly a high bar to set right there, okay? But they're struggling with it, cannot hold it. Notice they're up over it, and they give it up. They move up, and they give it up. And they give it up and more. That makes them bearish. There's UNGs. Take a look at GLD. All right, here's gold. Gold's in a downtrend, okay, technically. All right? They got themselves in a downtrend because here's a low. They made a lower low right here. Okay, so that's a downtrend. Now, if they happen to make a higher high, so if they come up over this, see this candle that peaks up over the 17, take out that high, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. But all in all, if you look at price structure through here, okay, it's not bad. Okay, we're moving up and we're holding the higher ground. It's a sloppy hold, but we're up and we're holding, so that's bullish. We're up here at quadrant 4. That's bullish. You're showing a little mini inverse head and shoulders, that being the head, okay, and this being the right shoulder right there. Didn't want that thickness. And this being the left shoulder right there, okay? So price action showing you an inverse head and shoulders, but currently, technically, in that downtrend right now. Now, if they happen to break the neckline right up here, up over that triple top, okay, they will have a head and shoulders breakout, all right, and I would take my pivot points and I would look for targets, all right, with my pivot points on gold for the upside. Again, 320 is a popular number. You can see they took a reversal at 320. All right, the next leg up usually is 350. Okay, take a little while to get to 350, but I've seen gold move fast sometimes. All right, so there's gold, technically in a downtrend, but not moving down. Okay, bullish and holding the higher ground up here in quadrant 4. So that's bullish and technically in a downtrend, but not moving down. Okay, still bullish. All right, there's GLD. All right, let's take a look at SLV. Silver, again, same deal. Moving up and holding the higher ground. See the move up over to the right. That's a bullish environment. Anytime price moves up and over to the right, that is a bullish environment. Every time. Okay, when it goes up and it gives it up, that's neutral. You go up, you give it up, and more, that's bearish. Okay, that's bullish right there. Okay, up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. In an uptrend, we got a low and a low, then we got a couple of higher lows. All right, then we got a high, and look at the higher high up here. That's bullish. Moving up, holding that higher ground, that's bullish right there. Okay, up at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, on top of all that, we are up over this 12-year high anchored VWAP. That's a 12-year high. Not an all-time high, but a 12-year high. I think the all-time high is around 46 or 48, all right? But anyways, you can see, nice candle yesterday. Okay, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. Over the 17, that's bullish, silver. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors, then we'll hit the economic data, all right? First sector, SMH. Okay, SMH makes a new all-time high yesterday. Okay, it doesn't get any better than that. Drop the mic. All right? XLK, new all-time high yesterday. Okay? It doesn't get any better than that. Just drop the mic. All right? XLK. XLF. All right? XLF, higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over rising 17, that's bullish. Top of quadrant 4, always bullish at the top of quadrant 4. Over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, that's also bullish, obviously in the upper third. And a couple of lows here, couple of higher lows here. There's a high, there's a high. Hey, guess what? We're making higher highs. So that's an uptrend and bullish top of quadrant 4. Okay, that's bullish. All right, let's take a look at IYT. All right, look at IYT, puts in a new rally high. Okay, see the reversal at April? All right, stops going down and starts moving up. Okay, so here is the new rally high for the transports. Again, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line, and moving up, that's always bullish. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, and in an uptrend, here's a couple of lows. They made some 3 higher lows. Here's a couple of highs. They just made a higher high, okay? So that's bullish and in an uptrend. So we got the makings for a really robust rally here, okay? We got a falling dollar. We got semiconductors, transports, technology, and financials, all bullish and in uptrends. All right, we have FNGU, the mega caps, okay, bullish and in an uptrend, okay. We got the mid caps and small caps in an uptrend and bullish. Okay, we have the makings of a really robust rally. We could get to 650. All right, we may consolidate. All right, for the next 10 days, we'll see what happens. All right, and before breaking out back up over 620. We'll see. We're visiting 620 today. If they don't recover today, chances are we're probably going to consolidate between 623 and 613. I'm expecting that. And then we'll wait for some good news to come out of the pipeline. Let's take a look at the economic data. And for the economic data, okay, we've got the dollar, okay. Okay, dollar is at a 3-year low. Okay, notice last time it was down here was 2022. Okay, so here is the major support. All of this consolidation is major support, and we broke major support. This would have been minor support up here. Okay, we got below minor support, and we got below major support. Major support now turns into, minor resistance, and this now turns into major resistance up there. Okay, we are underneath minor resistance, and we're bear flagging. Okay, we're coming down and over to the right. All right, so that's bearish. So we're in a downtrend. We're making lower highs. See the highs? And we're making lower lows. All right, so that's a downtrend. So there's the dollar in a downtrend. Okay, anytime the dollar's weak, it's great for us as investors and traders because it causes stocks to move up. It's great for the markets, all right? It opens up new markets because our dollar's cheaper and it's more affordable for them to buy our goods and services, okay? For the consumer, it sucks because we're all paying more dollars to buy goods and services, okay? But as investors, we like it, okay? So there's dollar in a downtrend. Again, broke major support. All right, let's take a look at max pain for today. And max pain is 621. All right, that's for the options that expired today. This is Friday. Okay, we got 2.3 puts to each call. A put squeeze is on the table. All right, so there's a possibility they rally up before noon and get back up over the pivot, maybe even up to those highs. Okay, just beware, be prepared for that. Okay, that's max pain. Economic calendar. Today we got the Treasury statement at 2, a rig count at 1. So it's a really light day. Okay, jobless claims came in great yesterday. I don't know if you took a look at them. They were well in line. So everything's looking good. If they want to rally, since they're holding these higher highs up here in the markets, all right, and not to mention some of them are making new rally highs, okay, it's blue skies above, okay, if they want to go flying today, all right, so we'll see. Earnings report. Today's not Thursday, is it? Yeah, today's Friday. Okay, so Friday, right here. Again, some familiar names, all right, but nothing that's going to move the markets. That's it. I think next week we're going to have financials are going to report. We're going to kick off a new session of earnings next week, I think. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, and we just did the economic calendar. We did the earnings. We did Max Payne. We did the dollar. That's it for me today, traders. Okay, yesterday, what did we do? We traded. It's no secret. We do the same thing every single day. Okay, every single day. Okay, what did we trade yesterday? Here's a 10-minute chart of the SPY. Okay, we do the same thing. 10-minute uptrend. This is VWAP right here. See this? This is VWAP, this brown line. All right, here's the 10-minute uptrend. See the 10-minute chart? 3 EMA on top of the 8. 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, and if you notice, if you follow me here at BYOB, anytime we got price structure, okay, 10-minute uptrend between 11, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, and noon, all right, there's a chance, there's a high probability, like 80 to 90, that this is going to last till 2:30. Look where it lasted till. 2:30 on the nose. Right there, okay? So there's that 10-minute uptrend that we traded, and the trend day triggered, so that gave us courage to buy the dip, all right, and ride it up for another $1 up there. SPY 10-minute chart, and we traded the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. That's it, okay? I had an awesome day yesterday. A lot of traders had an awesome day, and that's that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. That's what we traded yesterday. Okay? If you're wondering what we traded and how we make money, there it is. 3 EMA on top of the 8 EMA on the 10-minute chart. You can see the candles move up, over, and up again. Okay? Right up until 2:30. Now, on a trend day, 40 to 50% of the time, it will end the day at the high of the day. Okay? Not all the time. Okay, there's a bigger majority that winds up cutting out at 2:30 or 3, and then giving up the higher ground. Okay, so that's what we did yesterday. All right, traders, that's it for me for this morning. I'll see you all in about 40 minutes, and we'll kick off the market again. Don't forget, this Monday, this Monday, everybody out there in podcast land, get registered. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can scan it with your smartphone. Open house on the 14th for RWO. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll see you all in about 40 minutes.